Well, good morning, Greene County.
Good morning.
Hope everyone's doing well this morning. Uh, for those of you that don't know, my name is Jarod Denney. I'm with Greene County Pretrial Services. I am the senior pretrial officer for our office. We have we have 8 people now in our office, but bear with me while I get this slideshow going and get started here this morning. Feel free to interrupt and ask any questions along the way. So we'll start with our pretrial mission statement, which is to operate a pretrial program that's safe, fair, and effective, which maximizes public safety, court appearance, and appropriate use of release, supervision, and detention. So our biggest goal is to get people out of jail that don't need to be sitting in jail. If we can get them out, offer resources, keep them in the community as much as possible. And we do so, our office is kind of split in two. So we have a side of the office that does risk assessments. That's the PSA, the public safety assessment. And the other half does strictly supervision. And our PSAs, so every morning we review a list of inmates that were booked in, and we can make a list of inmates that are being held on new misdemeanor or felony charges who we've not already done a PSA on before. Then this goes on to say that we make every effort to e-file a PSA to the court of record prior to the first appearance to give the judge as much information as possible to make a release decision at the bond reduction hearing. So 99% of the time before that person is seen by a judge, they have our PSA in front of them, so they can use that information to make a decision on their release. That could be leaving bond where it's at. That could be raising the bond. That could be releasing them without any special conditions, or that could be releasing them under our supervision with a set of conditions that they have to meet and abide by while they're out.
So,
Yeah.
just to clarify, the PSA, that's, you said every day you look at the new inmates that are broken. So these aren't personal interviews. This is just
Correct.
you looking at all of the facts surrounding the person.
Correct. So our previous assessment tool that we used required an interview. So we would go to the jail every day, interview people. But with our new assessment, I say new, but we've been using the PSA now for about 6 years. Doesn't require an in-person interview. So we simply rely on 9 factors that comprises a score. And we'll talk a little bit more about that the further we go here. So the slide states that using the inmate's criminal history, we comprise that with mules, so half of our office is mule certified, so we can pull criminal histories, and also just using CaseNet. They answer 11 questions, 9 risk factors, considering which are considered on the PSA. So the PSA gives a score for the risk of failure to appear, a risk for the defendant to commit a new crime while they're out, and a violent crime flag. And if that's flagged, it means that they're at a risk to commit a new violent crime if released pretrial. So you have pretty much 3 things that we're giving, 3 scores that we're giving to the courts. Again, 1, the risk of failure to appear, not coming back to court. 2, if they're released, are they going to commit a new crime? And if they do commit a new crime, is that new crime going to be of a violent nature? So on the supervision side, we supervise felonies and misdemeanors. We currently don't supervise A or unclassified felonies, so that's the 2 top tier felonies that our office doesn't supervise. But part of that supervision, so we monitor drug testing, treatment attendance, court appearances. So our office, we don't make up conditions. That's up to the court. That's up to the judge to set conditions. So an example of that is if someone's released under our supervision, simply to report to us, get court date reminders. We can't just one day say, we want you to go take a drug test. We can't do that unless it's ordered by the court. That's something that if we do have like a concern or worry, that we can ask the court to add that as a condition, but we just can't do it at random. So it talks about how we have defendants that remain on supervision from a few months to more than a year. So while their cases are pending, they're under our supervision unless the judge removes our supervision for some reason along the way. Right now, we're averaging about 8 months per client while they're under supervision before they're sentenced. I've had clients for 6 years while their cases are pending. So that's a very long time. Get to know someone pretty well over 6 years. But also had clients 24 hours before they're done in one way or another. Either they're rearrested and sentenced, or they take an offer the following day at their first court appearance or something like that. But right now, our caseloads were averaging about 8 months between placed on supervision and disposition of their case. So we monitor their compliance with their conditions throughout. So if they violate their condition of their supervision, we notify the court with a violation report. We typically will ask for a show cause hearing. That's just a chance to bring everybody together, the defendant, defense attorney, prosecutor's office. Everyone comes together to say, okay, what's going on? Is this something we can move forward with modifying the release conditions? Or is this something bad enough that maybe we need to take this person back into custody? Just gives everybody an opportunity to discuss what's happening with that case. We also monitor GPS. We have a lot of people on GPS. Luckily, we don't install our own GPSs anymore. We use a third party, so that's contracted out. You can see there the current cost right now per day for a GPS monitor is $9 a day. I would say it's arguably a lot better than housing someone in our jail, which I don't know the current figures, but around $100 a day to house someone in our Greene County jail. With that GPS, we have the ability to create exclusion zones. So if there's an alleged victim in the case and the judge has ordered they can't be within 1,000 feet of that person, we let the GPS provider know that. They set up a zone around that location, so we get alerts anytime someone passes through that zone. And the judge, the court, can add a 911 notification requirement as well. So anytime that person enters that exclusion zone, 911 is automatically called for a well-being check. So we also have Scram monitoring, which is our alcohol monitor. So that is another bracelet that someone has to wear on their ankle. Has to have direct skin contact. You can see that costs currently $10 a day for the Scram monitor. But that's working 24/7. It is reading the perspiration in your skin, so it has to have that direct skin contact at all times. It monitors temperature, electrical resistance. So if someone places stuff in between the bracelet and their leg, it's a tamper alert. We get that alert. They do report. This says they report once a week to have the device's stored data downloaded for analysis. So that is pretty typical right now. Our Scram clients come in once a week to have all their data downloaded. It gets sent off to Scram. Their headquarters is in Colorado. If there's any sort of issue or an alert, they run analysis on that and send it back to us. There's also, we have the ability to have what's called a base station. So especially if someone doesn't live close to the office, we can send a base station and they download every night. They just have to be close to that base station and it downloads the data every night. Yep. So yes, boots are probably the biggest issue. When people are wearing work boots, that can be pretty tough. But yeah, the bracelet, the strap's about this wide, but the actual monitor, I would say, is hard to say, but it's about this large in diameter and about this tall, and it just rides up the leg. It's loose enough. Well, the Scram has to be a little tighter because it has to have that skin contact. So the GPS, they're still able to rotate it on either side of their leg. I did wear a Scram and a GPS unit for a period of time just to get the experience to know what my clients are dealing with. It's not pleasant. It's not the funnest thing in the world, but it's also probably a heck of a lot better than sitting in the jail. And after someone wears one of those monitors for a time, their attorney can file a motion with the court. It's called a motion to modify. So they can modify their conditions. Say if they've gone 3-4 months with no issues, they can ask the court to remove that condition so we can take it off.
Is it typical for people to be on both monitors, or is it usually one or the other?
It's usually one or the other. We do have clients that are on both monitors, and with our setup now, that's one on each leg. And like like I said, not the funnest thing in the world. They do have units now that it's all in one, but our provider right now just has the two separate units that they have to wear. And again, with both those monitors, if they were to like cut the strap, there's an automatic tamper alert. 911's notified, and dispatch is sent out if that's part of their requirements. Which any tamper is a 911 notification. So if we get a strap tamper, that means that they've cut the strap.
Is that $9 and $10 fee, is that passed on to the individual, or is that absorbed just by the county?
So we pay for that. Not on all of our clients. Some of our clients are able to pay for it themselves. But yes, we do have budget for GPS monitoring. Because again, it goes back to $9, $10 a day, a lot better than $100 a day.
Do they have to file something with the court and they can't afford it financially?
No, it's typically if we work with our clients, if they're stuck in the jail, they're not getting out because of that, then we step in. Now they have to have meet certain requirements. They have to have a co-signer for that GPS that says they'll be financially responsible for it if that person were to damage it or cut it off or anything like that. So we're not responsible for the replacement value, which is about $2,000 for the GPS and about $1,400 for the Scram unit right now. But that goes to the co-signer if something were to happen. So right now, our office is currently supervising 455 defendants. I put that we have 102 pending there because not everybody that we get assigned to supervise can meet their conditions and get out of custody. So say if a judge wants someone released, they don't have a bond in place, but the judge only wants them released to treatment or sober living, or wants us to verify a home plan prior to the release. If I can't do that, then they haven't met their conditions of release, so they sit in the jail until we do so. So we have 102 people right now that could get out if we could meet all of their conditions that the court set forth. So sometimes those pending people are a lot more work than our active supervision people. So I think that's important to count. So we're looking at 550 people right now in our office. So our average caseload right now is over 100 that we're supervising per supervision officer. So you can see we have currently 101 GPS units out on people and 32 alcohol monitors. That number goes up and down every year throughout the year. We've been as high as around 150 GPS units, as low as in the 80s, but right now we're sitting at just over 100. All right. And on the report side, I pulled some numbers. So we have 2 report writers, and our report writers have done in the last year about, actually, let me get the actual number here. Well over 2,000 reports. So about 2,020 reports. So again, we do those reports on everybody booked into the jail as long as they have a pending case. So some people are booked in on like a federal hold. Well, we don't do reports on those cases. Some people are booked in on a probation violation. We're not doing a PSA on that. But if they're booked in and have a pending charge, that's when we do a PSA. And that public safety assessment was actually developed it was publicly released in 2018. It's free for everyone to use, which is nice for our office. But that was like one of the largest case studies ever done. It was 750,000. So they used this on 750,000 people across the nation. So it's been nationally validated. And hopefully here soon we can work on locally validating that for our office as well. Any questions for me? Any more questions?
No.
Sure.
So how unique is our pretrial services here in Greene County compared to other counties of similar size?
Well, I can tell you that Greene County is one of, I think now we have 9 pretrial offices in the state of Missouri. Kansas City doesn't have one. St. Louis and St. Louis County both have a pretrial program. And they all vary slightly based on their just their clientele and their judicial.
In your opinion, what would be the effect if we didn't have this in Greene of
Mo-
the system and the community.
More people in our jails. Now, you can argue that every single one of those people that we supervise right now, if our office wasn't here, they'd be sitting in the Greene County Jail.
How many people you have in your office?
Office of 8. Yeah, so our pretrial office actually started back in 02, 03 with just 2 people. When I started, I've been with pretrial about 10, right at 10 years now. And when I started, there was 4 of us. And so we're growing. Our caseloads are actually higher than what we'd like to see them. So maybe time for expanding in the near future as well. Any other questions? Yes.
You were talking about the background checks that you do on your clients.
Uh-huh.
I'm a father of 3 girls. I'm familiar with doing background checks on boyfriends with CaseNet, but you mentioned mules.
Mules, yes.
Mules.
Mules and NCIC is so Mules is the state database. NCIC is the national database. So we run criminal history checks across the state and nation.
That's not public.
No, it's not. No. We get a little bit more information. But I would clarify that. So our office, as supervision goes, we try our best to offer as many resources to these people as possible. If they need help with treatment, if they need help with housing, if they need help with transportation, we can offer bus passes. The judge doesn't have to order us to do so. We automatically ask these people, how can we help you? How can we better your life to keep you from entering the system again? So that's our ultimate goal, to keep these people out and productive members of society and not coming back, not repeat offenders. And a lot of our cases are dismissed. These people are innocent until proven guilty. Some of these cases don't go anywhere. They get dismissed. A lot of our clients are found not guilty if they take it to trial. That's probably more the norm than you think. Working in the office, you get focused on all the violation reports I'm doing. Well, I think everyone in my office would agree that if you could remove a small number of people, that workload would decrease drastically, because there's always those troublemakers that make you feel like so much is going on. But a lot of our clients are successful. Pulling some numbers this morning, over the last year, we have 98% of our clients don't reoffend. We're looking at about 2% of our clients actually commit a new charge while out under supervision, which is a great number. We're trying to pull our FTA numbers now, and I think once we get that ironed down, we're probably going to be sitting around 88 to 90% of our clients never miss a court date. When you're looking at 1,000 clients a year, that's really good, and I think that's something that we can be proud of.
So I guess I kind of imagine you guys just like sitting in a room just waiting for violation alerts to go off and then you do. But it sounds like you do more active, like on the client workload. You said about 100 to a caseworker.
Mhm.
What's the like the public administrator? They have boards, and once a year they're required to have like that touch. So what's the follow up on your people just like checking in? What can I do for you?
Yeah, so our clients, they range, so based on their score, the risk score with the PSA, determines how often they are required to check in with our office. So that could be a weekly check-in, every other week, or monthly. Those check-ins can be as simple as a phone call. Now, the courts sometimes order people to check in more often. They want them to check in person, but at minimum for us, it's a phone call, and simply letting us know how things are going. Our biggest thing is we focus on reappearance rates, so make sure these people remember their court dates. It's amazing how everyone forgets their court date, whether they be a day off or they forget it's at 8:30 and not 1:30. Well, all my court dates have been at 8:30. Why is this one all of a sudden changed to 1:30? Well, it changed courtrooms. Just a reminder. Those court date reminders have a very large impact on the appearance rates. Anything else? Yes. We're more social worker than anything, but definitely not attorneys. So when we meet with our clients for the first time, we have them sign a consent, a release of information that says, hey, we're not attorneys. Don't talk to us about your case. I don't want to have to go testify in court regarding the facts of the case. So my job is to be here and help you get out, stay out of custody, and find whatever resources that you need. We do partner with some peers in the community. So peers are people that have that lived experience, that have been through the system themselves. And if we can partner some people up with a peer to help them kind of navigate the process as well, we do so. Any other questions? So we also have some funding available that we assist individuals with, like, so sober living is not free. You know, if the court requires someone to get into sober living, you know, there's a startup fee, an entrance fee, and then weekly fees after that. We're fortunate that we can offer assistance to some people for up to a month of their sober living fees to get them on their feet, get that job, get those first paychecks rolling in so they can pay their own fees and take over after that. We also even have a clothing, you know, little clothes bank in our office or in our break room. So if someone needs, we even have some non-perishable food items, clothing items, shoes, stuff like that for our clients that get released from jail that have nothing. It's a pretty tough situation to be in when you're booted out the door at the Greene County Jail and say good luck, but you have nothing. You've been kicked out of your house. You can't go back to the house. Maybe that's where all your belongings are. You can't return. So if they come to our office, we can assist with some clothing, some food items. We'll even assist them with getting an ID or their social security card or their birth certificate to help them even be able to get a job. You know, some of those things that we sometimes take for granted, we can help them get to get their lives back on track. Yeah. Vast majority of everything was donated. Yes. Yes. And we'll still accept donations as well. So mostly right now, since the change in seasons, you know, some more short sleeve. I think we actually have quite a bit of women's clothing. It's more the men's clothing that we have a need for right now. Any other questions? I enjoy my job. You know, every day is different. We run into all sorts of different situations in our office. You know, we're not only supervising and doing these PSAs, we're also kind of the ultimate middleman for the courts and the jails, making sure the docket entries say what they need to say in order to get this person out. Because it just takes a couple wrong words that the jail's like, well, I can't release them because this needs to be changed. And so we really play the middleman there and work between the courts and the jail as well. And we have good relationships with the prosecutor's office, the public defender's office. So if anyone has a client that they think needs a service or help getting into something like inpatient treatment, or even they'll come to us and we'll start that process. Yeah. Oh goodness, I have no idea. Yeah. Oh yes, yes. We have 18 to 93, I think, was the oldest that we've had. But anything else?
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you.